Standing Committee on the Status of Women. Today's meeting is taking place in a hybrid format pursuant to the standing orders. Members are attending in person in the room and remotely using the Zoom application. Since all of our witnesses today are virtually, I'll just remind you to ensure that you're muted if you're not speaking, and just raise your hand if you have a question during that time. And if there's interpretation, just interrupt so that we can hear you. Just reminding everybody in the room just to make sure your earphones aren't too close to your mics. We want to ensure that there's no issues for our interpreters. And with regard to the speaking list, the committee clerk and I will do the best we can to maintain the consolidated order of speaking for all members. Just on a little note, just a reminder, today we also did on the human trafficking report. That was tabled today at 10 o'clock, so it's available. I wanted to make a little note there. It's not a big deal, but there was a little bit of a typo, and we believe it's from formatting. So that is something that's already being addressed, and if there's any complications, we'll get back to let you know, but it's something that was not seen in all of the official documents, and it's something we now see online. So already being addressed, and we'll get that handled. So today, I would like to welcome, pursuant to Standing Order 1082 and the motion adopted by the committee on Thursday, September 21st, 2023, the committee will resume its study on women's economic empowerment. And today online, we have three witnesses. As an individual, and Emily, you will have to probably help me on this. Emily Watang McInnes, who is the Chief Emerita. Is that correct, Emily? Did I say that correct?
Weetung Macinnis, yes.
Thank you so much. From Paktuit and Inuit Women of Canada, Rosemary Cooper, who is the Executive Director. And from Yes Employment and Entrepreneurship, Kathy Slotsby, and Kathy, you're going to have to help me too, Director of Communications and Stakeholder Engagement, as well as Malcolm Kilakaslam, Project Manager for Elevate. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin with 5 minutes for each of you for your opening comments. I will interrupt about 15 seconds into your last moments just so that you know that time is winding up so you can conclude your moments. So I'm going to begin to pass it over to Emily for your first 5 minutes.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. This is my first time submitting as a witness to a committee, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I'm going to introduce myself in Anishinaabe. I think that's a very important thing for me to do. So Anin Mino Gejab Kinawea, Gejab Dishnikaz, Ashkiman Gimandao. As I was introduced, I am the former chief of Curve Lake First Nation here in Ontario and a mother of 2 little boys and the director of Indigenous Partnerships for Business Development at Ontario Power Generation. I have been invited to share my experience as a woman in the energy sector, in leadership. I was a lawyer before that, just to share some of my background with you. So some of the issues that I think are important to discuss are experiences that I've had in starting and raising a family. From the very early days of deciding to be a lawyer and start a family and not really knowing what that meant or being prepared for the career issues that come as a result of that. So when I had my children as a lawyer, we don't have the same... We're completely reliant on external funding to cover the gap during maternity leaves. And the legal world continues to march on when you step out of it, just as many careers do. And re-entering the workforce after having children is a significant issue that I think many, many women have to deal with. Certainly, I have many friends and many women that I've spoken to who end up changing careers after that 12 to 18 months off because re-entering the workforce is incredibly difficult, and additional supports for that, I think, would be phenomenal. Moving through your career and my time as an Indigenous mother living on an Indian reserve, being able to take care of my children, and I've spoken about this before, bathing your children in a community where they can't put their face in the bathwater because it may be harmful to them is an incredible struggle. And I know we've made progress in recent years on getting access to clean drinking water in communities in First Nations across Canada that I'm very, very proud to have been a part of. But just just keeping in mind that those are the issues that Indigenous women face. And then moving through my career, I've participated in the Electrification and Energy Transition Panel in Ontario. I'm on the Canadian Electricity Advisory Council federally, and finding scheduling conflicts and the need to balance not just work and additional participation, but being a mother of an Indigenous mother of Indigenous children and scheduling around school times and being able to support a family are incredibly difficult things to juggle, things that need to take a lot of time and care, and making sure that there's understanding in scheduling for the priority of being a mother to Indigenous children in an education system that hasn't always been supportive of our own choice is a really big issue that I face on a regular basis. So making sure that there are opportunities to support women through those transition processes. In recent years with the pandemic, I think some of the positive things that I've seen involve the ability to work from home. And this has made a significant impact in my life in being able to balance the most important role that I have as a mother, and my role, my career, is the ability to be able to be there during the day when my kids need me and still maintain a career, being able to juggle that and having a partner who is incredibly supportive, but also has the ability to juggle some days in the office and some days at home so that we're there to see our children at the end of the school day is a significant factor that's incredibly important. And I think the more that I see of opportunities to balance, find that work-life balance and be able to be a mother, the more hopeful I am that I can continue to advance in my career and support the energy transition that's incredibly important to me personally because of things like climate change. So I don't know that I've taken up the full amount of time that we had, but that's my submission today, and I'm sure we'll get into more issues as we address the questions the committee will have. Thank you, Chimigwech.
Thank you so much, Emily. And you know, something almost exactly to 5 minutes, just a few seconds short of that. So thank you. We're now going to pass it over to Rosemary. Rosemary, you will have the floor for 5 minutes.
Can you hear me okay?
Just fine.
Okay, Mnusakut, Madam Chair, committee members, and guests and staff. My name is Rosemary Cooper. I'm from Iqaluit, Nunavut, and I'm the Executive Director of Paututut Inuit Women of Canada. Paututut is a national voice for Inuit women, girls, and gender diverse Inuit wherever they live in Canada. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary gala in Ottawa with Her Excellency Mary Simon and members of Parliament. For the past 40 years, we have advocated for Inuit women, helping them escape the harsh cycle of poverty by increasing their economic independence. Inuit values are the foundation of any economic development and what we advocate for. Our role is to ensure the needs of Inuit women are met, from remote fly-in communities to urban centers. We work to identify and address barriers to economic empowerment. Today, I would like to highlight 3 of these barriers, and they are access to employment, safe and affordable housing, and sustainable resource extraction. In Canada, we consistently experience lower levels of economic participation in comparison to non-Inuit. In recent years, the national average of unemployment rate was approximately 7.3%. For Inuit, the average unemployment rate was more than double that at 16%. Due to the lack of access to employment, Inuit women often need to create their own entrepreneurial opportunities. To address this, we have several initiatives to support Inuit women. One of the ways we do this is with our Paututut Inuit Women in Business Network. This is a national initiative that provides workshops and resources to support Inuit women's economic empowerment. Any barrier is access to safe and affordable housing. Another barrier, sorry. This is key to the health and well-being of Inuit women and our families. In recent statistics indicate Inuit face the most overcrowded living conditions in Canada. This has a direct negative impact on several health concerns, such as tuberculosis, family violence, and the wellness of our communities. As the committee has heard from previous witnesses, access to safe and adequate housing is key to addressing gender-based violence and a major barrier to economic empowerment. If we want betterment to economic equity for all women in Canada, access to safe and affordable housing for Inuit women cannot be forgotten. Paututi continues to advocate for increased and safe participation of Inuit women in the resource extraction industry. As further investments and more jobs are created in our communities, they must be rooted in our Inuit values and principles. Otherwise, we risk unsustainable practices in resource extraction and employment. This industry must be developed in a way that ensures equitable access and safe employment. This is done through research, community consultations, and valuing lived experience. We underscore the need for consultations to be done in a meaningful way, which is why our appearance before this committee is deeply appreciated. In closing, I wish to thank the committee for the invitation. We value our partnership with government and Canada and appreciate being engaged in your study. Nakumin.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. We're now going to pass it online to both Kathy and Metlam, and I'll let you two figure out your timing there, but you have 5 minutes.
Thanks so much. My name is Kathy Slotsby, and I'm the Director of Communications at Youth Employment Services Foundation, also known as Yes Employment and Entrepreneurship. Yes is a charity organization based in Montreal that provides English language employment and entrepreneurship services across Quebec. Our offices are located in Tiohtià:ke, the traditional territory of the Kanien'kehá:ka people. Our organization has been active since 1995, supporting more than 60,000 job seekers, entrepreneurs, and artists in finding sustainable economic success within Quebec. We do this primarily through one-on-one coaching, mentorship, skills-building workshops, and networking events, in addition to niche programming developed to support populations experiencing multiple barriers to success. Our services, which are funded through a variety of streams, including by the Government of Canada, are free or low cost and are offered in person and online. The full participation of diverse groups in Canadian society is a core value from both an economic and a social cohesion perspective. The English-speaking community of Quebec is the largest linguistic minority in Canada and represents almost 16% of Quebec's labor force. However, the 2021 census confirmed that the community continues to lag their French counterparts economically, with both a higher unemployment rate and a lower median income, and these gaps are growing. It's important to note that the English-speaking community in Quebec is also incredibly diverse, and that's represented in our clients. Last year, this included 67% who self-identified as women and 3% as non-binary. In addition, 34% of our clients self-identified as a member of a visible minority. The diversity of our community dictates that we must view economic outcomes with an intersectional lens, as many members of our community experience multiple barriers to success. The lasting impacts of the pandemic have had a disproportionate negative impact on women-led businesses. The impact of the gender equity gap was further emphasized for women entrepreneurs who identify with other minority groups. Further, scaling and growing a business is more challenging for women entrepreneurs. While improvements have been made regarding seed funding, women continue to comprise only 15% of overall financing. To better support women's economic success within Quebec, and with the support of government funding, we began offering niche programming tailored to women in 2012. Some of the highlights include several programs to support the retention and advancement of women in STEM through supports like networking, mentorship, and the development and recommendation of inclusive corporate solutions. That program ran from 2012 to 2020. In 2019, we introduced the Elevate Women Entrepreneurs Program with the support of the Women's Economic Strategy Ecosystem Fund. This program created systemic supports to enable gender equity and entrepreneurship in Quebec. And the Women Employment Readiness Quebec